Good morning to you, and welcome back to today's JRPG Weekly Update. I'm Super Derek, and we've got a little bit of news to go through this week, and some pretty good news, and some not so great news, but we've got a good deal, and we're gonna go through a bunch of it. And obviously, by the way, this is not the live JRPG Weekly Update. I'm gonna need to do a lot of prep work for that, so it might still be a few weeks away before we do that. So when we do a pilot episode of that, it'll be here on YouTube. Still gonna have like up in the corners having gameplay like show for the trailers and stuff that I'm talking about. So it should, for everybody watching after the fact, be totally kind of pretty much the same, but we'll just see how that goes. But it's gonna be a couple weeks from now. So anyways, this is just the normal JRPG Weekly Update, and we got some news to talk about, and we're going to talk about that right now, starting with Legend of Heroes. Trails of Cold Steel 1 and 2 were announced for Nintendo Switch in Japan. And that announcement is that they're going to be releasing them sometime here in summer of 2021, and in June and July in Asia, in the Asian region, which is really important because what we've been seeing a lot in the Asia regions with these releases is that they get physical releases in Asia still, and also a lot of times those physical releases include English text options, which is really great. That's where a lot of the stuff from Play Asia that I've been talking about, like the Final Fantasy combo pack, the 7 and 8 combo pack, and the Final Fantasy 9 Switch physical release that they're taking pre-orders for over on Play Asia. That's all because those are the Asia releases that have the English text options. So it's like really great for people who want to import them. Now, it hasn't been confirmed if it's going to be like the multi-language over there for Trails of Cold Steel 1 and 2 on Switch, but fingers crossed, because also in addition to just Trails of Cold Steel 1 and 2, we're also seeing that they've also announced Zero no Kiseki and Ao no Kiseki, or Trails from Zero and Trails of Azure. So those were also announced for Nintendo Switch, and it's also coming to the Asia region on February 18th and then on April 22nd. So, I mean, this is a big if these aren't announced for the West, which they might still be, but if they aren't, then there's a potential that we could actually see English text options for the Crossbell, for the Crossbell games, which currently we're only available to experience them with some fan translations, and there's still one in the works from the Geofront patch. So it's kind of exciting. We'll see what happens. I'll keep you updated as we learn more. In addition, we also got an announcement about a brand new Story of Seasons game that's been announced for the Nintendo Switch. It's Story of Seasons Pioneers of Olive Town, and Story of Seasons, for those who aren't familiar with this, is actually what they're now calling the very old like Super Nintendo Harvest Moon and Harvest Moon 64. They lost the company that made these games lost the rights to the name Harvest Moon, and it's always been called Story of Seasons and stuff in Japan. Well, now those games are getting, called Story of Seasons as they come west and stuff. It's all kinds of complicated, and to make further matters even further crazy, is that they're still the original publisher who actually owns the name. Harvest Moon is publishing crappy games under that name now for years, and it's been causing all kinds of headaches. But hey, that's neither here nor there. So Story of Seasons Pioneers of Olive Town, yes, almost said Olive Garden, is going to be launching in March of 2021. And then also we got a new game announced, and it actually launched already here, called Cthulhu Saves Christmas. This is a brand new follow-up to Cthulhu Saves the World by Zeboyd Games, and it launched on the Nintendo eShop last week on the 28th, I believe. Now, it's also going to be coming to PlayStation 5 when, down the line when the PlayStation 5 is out. And then also, they're going to be releasing some physical copies of the game via limited run games, and pre-orders for that are opening on November 6th. Now that moves us along to some release date updates, including Cyberpunk 2077. If you haven't already heard, the game has been delayed to December 10th. But seriously, this game's been, they announced this like nearly a decade ago, and I feel like extra month of pushback it's not really going to hurt anybody. Now they're citing CD Projekt Red is citing simultaneous launches on so many different platforms, causing complications to things, and they could just use a little bit more time to get things settled. And yeah, so it's really I think it's a reasonable thing to just be like, hey, maybe one more month, but that hasn't stopped entitled douchebags from sending death requests, death threats to the developers. And I realize that this is probably not exactly a controversial opinion, but hey, if you out there are, for whatever reason, if that's your go-to move is to send developers death threats whenever you're slightly inconvenienced, you're just a worse form of Karen as far as I'm concerned. So, just maybe don't do that. And then moving along to Bravely Default 2, they actually got this game got a release date announced here. It's going to be coming to the Nintendo Switch on February 26th of 2021. And now after that demo was released, they actually collected a lot of feedback about, things that they should make tweaks to. And that's why it'll have been about a year by the time that this comes out since the original demo was released for them to collect feedback and turn that into something. So what we're seeing now is that they're going to be adding 3 new difficulty options for people who want something easier or want something way more difficult. Hopefully you can pick your poison and you can change it on the fly, which is pretty awesome. They're also going to be adding some turn gauges to better see whose turns are coming up, and skippable battle intros and a whole bunch of other stuff. I think it's looking like they took a lot of feedback into consideration. And it's also got a brand new trailer, which you can check out if you want. And then Rune Factory 5 got an updated trailer in Japan. It's going to be launching over there on May 20th in 2021. However, we have not received an update about it in the West, so still sometime in 2021 is the launch window that we have. Hopefully we'll get an update on that at some point. Now, in other news, Yuji Horii did say that he had some upcoming announcements for the Dragon Quest 35th anniversary, which is going to be in 2021. And he hasn't really given us a whole lot of details about what that could be yet, but I guess as we get more updates on that, I will dispense them unto you. Make sure you're subscribed so you get those updates. And then that brings us to this week's JRPG Weekly Forecast, and starting the forecast off on the 5th of November. Remember, the 5th of November, the Seven Nights Time Wanderer is going to be coming out. That's a 2015 iOS game that's getting ported over to the Nintendo Switch. And then also on the 5th, we've got Kemco RPG Dragon Lapis, which is already on the 3DS, iOS, PC, and Xbox One, and it is now also getting ported over to the Nintendo Switch. And speaking of Kemco, they've also got another RPG coming out on the 6th of November called Crystal Ortha, and that is coming exclusively to the Xbox One. And now that pretty much leaves us with the question of the week. And my question for you guys this week is tied into that Yuji Horii announcement about the Dragon Quest 35th anniversary. What do you think would be a fitting announcement for the 35th anniversary of Dragon Quest? And I've got some ideas that I've been kicking around, some things that I've known about for a little while that I just like to see an update on, or just things that I have been hinted at in the past that may come to fruition. So here's what I'd personally really love to see in a 35th anniversary kind of Dragon Quest celebration from Square Enix. So personally, I'd really love to see that Dragon Quest X MMO turned into a single player experience for Western audiences that they talked about it feels like a year or two ago at this point. I would really love to see that because none of us here in the West got to play that at all, unfortunately. And now the servers are long gone, so they don't really have a whole lot to lose. I mean, it'd take a whole lot of extra development, but hey, if I'm just making a wish list here, I don't think that matters. And then also, I'd really like to see some more details on that new Dragon Quest Monsters game that they they barely showed anything off about it. That's going to feature Eric from from Dragon Quest 11 and his sister Mia. I think that was her name. So it features the two of them, and they're on their own adventure as a prequel to Dragon Quest 11. I would really love to see some update about that. And then also, I mean, the obvious go-to here for me would be, I feel like at this point we've seen and played Dragon Quest 11. It's been ported to everything. Where's that Dragon Quest 12? We need an announcement for a Dragon Quest 12. And don't get me wrong, Dragon Quest 11 was a really excellent love letter to all of the Dragon Quests that preceded it. I do kind of hope to see Dragon Quest 12 get kind of a little bit different. I'd like to see nothing like Final Fantasy has gone completely off the rails as far as like their experimentation, but I'd like to see them play around with the series just a little bit, since I feel like 11 was one of those things that was kind of like an homage to so many other Dragon Quest games that kind of put a nice little bow on it. And I'd like for Dragon Quest 12 to make some sort of statement about the future of Dragon Quest, if you know what I mean. I don't know, maybe that's asking a lot, but we'll see what happens. But what do you think? What do you want to see? Let me know in the comments down below. And thank you for hanging out with me today, guys. It has been a pleasure. I will see you next time. Have a great day, great week. Oh yeah, I'm Super Derek, and this has all been news to me. Cheers.